In view of the Ukraine war, Great Britain wants to make a further $100 million, that's around 92 million euros, available for Ukraine. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson also announced further diplomatic talks to further mobilize the international community in the face of Russian aggression. The $100 million made available through the World Bank would come in addition to the equivalent of around 270 million euros that Britain is already giving to Ukraine, Downing Street officials said. The new funds should be used to maintain important state functions in Ukraine. While only Putin can completely end suffering in Ukraine, the new funds made available today will help those facing the deteriorating humanitarian situation, Johnson said. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson told Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky he would work with international allies to obtain more defensive military equipment to help with the conflict in Ukraine. The leaders discussed the urgent needs of the Ukrainian armed forces, and the Prime Minister undertook to work with partners to provide further defensive equipment, said a readout of a call between the two leaders provided by Johnson's office. And ventilators, bandages and syringe pumps are being sent to Ukraine as part of the second shipment of medical supplies and equipment donated by NHS Scotland. More than 130,000 items urgently requested by the Ukrainian government will be flown from Stansted Airport to Poland and should already have arrived in Ukraine. The latest medical aid, valued at about 1.2 million, follows an initial shipment earlier last week and is addition to 4 million of humanitarian assistance for Ukraine announced by the Scottish Government last week, of which the United Nations Children's Organization UNICEF received 1 million. Together with other UN agencies, UNICEF is establishing a series of child-friendly refuges along key travel corridors in countries bordering Ukraine to provide critical support to children and families fleeing the invasion. UNICEF is also working with the Ukrainian government to ensure continuity of child protection services, including plans for the evacuation of children in institutional facilities. And Europe Minister Neil Gray said, "We have watched in horror and anger as Russia's illegal war of aggression has led to deplorable loss of lives, livelihoods and homes. Scotland is not standing by as our fellow Europeans suffer. This latest substantial consignment of medical supplies helps address urgent needs identified by the Ukrainian government as it continues to resist the invasion and protect its citizens. Meanwhile, our 4 million of humanitarian aid will assist efforts to support those, particularly children, who have been forced from their homes to seek safety. We will continue looking at all options to further support the people of Ukraine." The Scottish Government says the best way to help the people of Ukraine is to donate funds to or volunteer with charities that are registered in Scotland or the rest of the UK that have an ongoing relief operation. And I need a quick personal word with you as well. As you may have seen, I've currently kicked all merch from my shop and only posted designs that can be used to express solidarity with Ukraine. Later, there will also be something about Ireland, Scotland, Co., but at the moment, I think that's more important. And it will also appear on YouTube under the videos by time, but there's always a delay. But until then, you can go directly to my shop. The link has already been in every video description in the past. And I already post on the community tab about it. And I would also like to reiterate that the profit from the sales will not be used for my own personal enjoyment. You may have noticed in the last video how much is currently being done here in my hometown. And if you want to set an example in your everyday life, you also have the opportunity to do it with me. And as I said, and as the Scottish Government said, you can help with the charities as well. And I'll see you in my next video. Bis gleich.